Food. Check his wound. Let's bring him food. You're not eating, Ed? No, Jake, I'm not hungry. Looks exhausted, his eyes are unusually dull. And you notice from the time to time he shakes and shivers, tries to hide with little success. You feel his throat with your hand, find it burning with fever. Come on, Jake, at least take me somewhere romantic if you're gonna try this stuff. In spite of it all, the Irishman still seems to have his good humor. You put the food down next to him in case he finds the strength to eat it. Thanks, mate. You sit down next to him, look at him for an instant. Pass him one of his whiskey bottles. Here's to your health. I never say no to a drink. You drink quietly, without making any noise, till a band starts softly singing one of its old Irish songs. It sounds like a lullaby, though you don't bother asking, listen to them in silence. Take one more swig from the bottle. Your head is pounding and you're exhausted after a long walk. You have the unnerving feeling that the second you close your eyes, there will be more nightmares awaiting you. Part of you would like to resist from sleeping. You lie still for a couple of minutes before falling asleep. At first light, you'd say check on Ed right away. Approach your Irish friend's cheap joke, but you get no answer. It's strange unease takes hold of you and the morning sun incapable of warming your sleeping limbs. You lean over Ed, you shake him, but as much as you touch him, you only feel his cold skin, nipping your fingertips with cold chill. Fever has taken its life during the night. Damn it! Can't spit a word. You're frozen there for a moment. Your throat dries to a knot that it's impossible to untie, and you feel like you can't breathe. You fall to the ground, collapsing next to your friend's body. Tears start flowing again. Can't do anything to stop them. Find yourself that single moment alone, the corpse of the young Irishman. Ryan or Smith? Let's ask Smith. Captain Smith accepts graciously, without showing any sign of grief, but nowadays you know your officer well. And you notice the vehemence in his demeanor helps you dig a grave deep enough. There's anger in his every movement, and an extreme care as he lays the Irishman in the earth, almost as if he were a son. Farewell, soldier. Rest in peace. Another tear runs down your face. You thank your dear friend, you say your goodbyes, pouring on what remains in one of his whiskey bottles. Promise him you and the others will have a drink in his honor as soon as possible. Some sad notes escape your lips. You try to hum the melody band was singing yesterday night. You don't know the exact words, and make them up mixing with English sub-sentences you heard from your Irish friend. Even though you don't understand the meaning, you can see how the young soldier was trying to stay strong with that melody, to face his last night bravely. It could have been a lullaby, but you'll never know. You resume marching towards Stone Town. If the boss was right, your destination shouldn't be too far. You hope it proves true, because every additional minute you spend, these lands will always be a minute too much. Damn. This story's getting brutal, man. They just killed him like that. And I bet you it's because they failed the medicine check. If I would have known that, I would focus way more on medicine. At last, the outline of Stone Town appears before your eyes. You are relieved after the enormous weight of this hard mission. Smith shares your enthusiasm. You both pick up your pace to leave behind you this horrible experience as soon as possible. But a few seconds later, a young British soldier pops up in front of you, running towards you frantically. They must have seen you from the watchtower. The soldier speaks with Captain Smith, but he can't make out a single word. They're saying, a horrified expression, the likes which you've never seen before, dawns on your CO's face. The two men start running towards Stonetown. As soon as you arrive at headquarters, you're immediately led to the sick bay. Your stomach twists suddenly, already anticipating the scene you might find in front of your eyes. In the infirmary, you see men screaming, convulsing, and others covered in sweat from their burning fevers. Sores devastating patients' skin, blood soaking the sheets, stained with bodily fluid. The dying wails and the cries of those who have lost their mind under diseases, feverish delirium, echo throughout the large room. Well, this ain't good. Now it's here in Stonetown. Shit just got real. During the turmoil, you notice a doctor who you approach with some kind of explanation. We're hit by a violent epidemic. Fevers, sores, hallucinations. Doctor doesn't wait around and immediately leaves to go take care of some patients. You know very well the symptoms the doctor described. You look around, notice some bodies lying on the floor. There's nothing you could do for them anymore. There's absolutely no time to waste. Dear doctor, you too must do your part. Examine one of the patients. Approach one of the patients, start to inspect him. He has a normally high temperature, is babbling meaningless words, and the beginning of lesions are visible on his skin. Symptoms you've come to be familiar with. The same disease that has stricken East Africa. I would fail that. 2 more points. That's all I need. Okay. Do we speak or do we observe? Let's examine. To immediately examine the patient's nape, expecting if you'll find the bizarre markings you had observed in other cases during the African village exploration. However, to your great surprise, there is no traces of punctures or swelling. You can't help but wonder whether this is a different illness. Begin to expect the rest of the patient's body to test your theory. Sick man Dirk starts raving with writhing, preventing your continued examination. He looks straight into your eyes, stretches his arms out towards you, flailing in his search of something to grasp onto, something to crush. Some intended threshold to hold him still, while you opt to leave. You absolutely have to talk to Smith. You leave the sick beds, doing your utmost to ignore the sounds of screams and moans. You wish you could do something for them, but you need to talk to Smith, clarify what he's so upset with the information the soldier carried. Could there be news about the disease itself? So you ponder this new question. You freeze on the spot at the sight of one of the infirmary cots. Oh shit. Smith is at the bedside of his son Scott. The cold military facade of the man is worn, all 3 emission lays shattered in front of the boy's frail body. Smith's pain laid bare for all to see. Scott is convulsing and screaming incomprehensibly. As soon as Smith sees you, he leaves his child's bedside and approaches you impetuously. Bennington, I'm begging you. To help my son, you must save him. You hesitate out of surprise. Smith is almost on his knees in front of you, imploring you to help. Concoction to stabilize. He will die if we stabilize him. You kept the concoction Lorraine gave you, but the mixture you have at your disposal, it's only enough for 1 dose. But you'd keep a strange rest for yourself, in case symptoms of illness returned, but you can't leave Smith's child to die. Unintended, are you sure that stuff works? Captain raises an arm, says to stop you, but he retreats immediately, fraught with countless unspeakable doubts. We have no choice, Captain. You must try even the impossible. For a moment, Smith stands between you and Scott, almost determined to stop you from feeding the unknown concoction to his son. Then the child starts screaming louder, his faces twist in harsh, animalistic sounds. Captain steps aside, nodding his head in pained resignation. You hold the child's head firmly, force him to drink it, making sure he swallows it properly. When you made sure he's had enough, you turn to look at Smith and nod. The man turns to his bedside, and you can't do anything but leave the room and wait. Some long hours later, Scott seems to be taking the medicine well. His fever is slowly subsiding. Child's delirium and screams have ceased. Skin begins to regain a more natural color. You smile as you look at him sleeping under his father's watch, Smith caressing his head. At least for now you can consider him out of the woods. Okay. So, that's happening. Also, we got an achievement. Shall we see what it was? A life in danger. You were able to save Scott's life using the concoction. Nice. Alright. Let's continue. You leave the sick bay. You have had a minute of rest before finding yourself again in the middle of the storm. You're exhausted. You come across some soldiers carrying a backpack and more exploration equipment. They finally found an expedition that has been missing for weeks. You move closer to learn more, trying to write your thoughts away from the disease. The soldiers tell you about a troop which had left about 2 weeks ago, in search of water springs inland. During the mission, the soldiers disappeared. They were sending any message as to their whereabouts. A recovery team was given the task of finding them, but all they could find were the corpses of the men in horrifying conditions. All of them. The soldiers stop talking and shiver faintly. Then they proceed to empty the salvaged backpacks and inspect their contents. Your attention is drawn by the thud of a diary falling on the table. You see it there surrounded by other trinkets. You approach and intend to examine it. The cover inscribed the name Private Eric McLean. You untie the strings that hold the notebook closed. Then you open it and start to read. We are at the mercy of the delirious savages. They were running towards us, their eyes bloodshot. We tried to locate an escape route, discovering only too late we had locked ourselves into a horrendous trap. You rapidly flip to the rest of the diary, jumping back and forth to the page to find more details. Last night I was plagued by terrible nightmares, creatures only a feverish mind could produce. I believe the visions and dreams are closely linked to the disease itself. In what measure, however, I dare not say. Unless I venture hypotheses that fall outside the canons of what we usually call science. What are you reading, Private? When the man approached with a curious look on his face, his eyes turning to the recovered diary. Speak to the soldier. He raised her eyes to the diary and he addressed him politely. However, you observe a certain greed in the soldier's eyes, fixating what you're holding rather than on yourself. A diary recently recovered by the team, belonging to one Eric McLean. See, I don't think you should keep this. It could contain some important information. A man extends his palm. He expects it to end with a notebook. Man is a bit too demanding. Convince the soldier. We're speechcraft, right? Thank God. Better work. Success! Yes! Well, it's so important that it's in the right hands with me. Soldier grits his teeth and leaves. After this brief interruption, You're musing that what you have just learned shares a number of traits to the current situation. But you should continue reading on when you'll be able to, later on, when you'll be able to concentrate. Slip that in your backpack just as another soldier approaches you. The man informs you to have been summoned by your commanding officers. Your heart skips a beat, but you try to keep calm and meekly follow the messenger. You nervously walk to headquarters command room, and you can't help wondering if perhaps you're summoned to be discharged. The officers await you in the room with rather Spartan furnishings. There's a desk almost entirely in the center, some African trophies hanging on the walls. Please, Huntington, have a seat. Mr. Huntington, you stood out both during the action and as a medic. Such you decided to award you the commendation, and a medal for bravery and skill in battle. You're surprised. You would never have expected this. You only thank the officers, but you still eventually request for indefinite leave, making your intentions of resuming your civilian life known. The three men stay silent for an instant, then begin exchanging opinions. I don't want to leave. What? No, I don't want to leave. Screw that, no. Medal of Valor. No! That's bad! We must avenge our fallen comrades. Especially O'Bannon. If this is your request, we feel bound to honor it. We'll organize so you can leave for London today, with a place in an officer's cabin. We hope that someday you'll choose to offer your service once again to the British Army. At least I know I'm doing pretty good as a soldier. You take your leave and return to the barracks to pack for your impending departure. You glance at your comrades' cots, both the men you left behind and those you have to leave now. You close your fist on your backpack strap, taking a deep breath. It's time to go back to London. No, terrible idea. Seriously. Say goodbye to Ryan and hug him. Cook offers you a bundle containing food and grins at you. Here, Jake, something delicious, made just for you. After tasting, I guarantee you'll be hard to forget the time we spent together. Thanks, Ryan. You know, I think I'll have a hard time falling asleep. Thought your sounding story would keep me company. Cook bursts into laughter, hitting you with a hearty slap on the back, which nearly knocks you over. You're right, Jake, really. But at least I don't talk in my sleep. His comment frees you on the spot, dampening your smile. So a cruel ghost has stolen your good humor and dropped you into the nightmare you lived during the mission. Cook looks at you, squinting, and seems to realize he's just said something inappropriate, so he hastens to fix it. Do you remember that day on the ship, when he asked why I joined the army? You nod as a half-Italian looks away for a moment, as if to recall that memory to his mind, turns to you again, with a wise, understanding look in his eyes. I knew right away you wouldn't spend your life with a rifle in your hands. You save people, Jake. You were not made for taking lives. You realize how true Ryan's words are. When you finish your studies, you're so well-intentioned, so willing to give everything to other people, so straight to any sickness. Ellen's death forced you to face the harshness of reality, and reality has no place for naive, youthful dreams. But your friend is right, and you cannot let pain prevent you from doing your duty. You talk for a long time, so if you want to put off a moment of farewell for as long as possible. Then Ryan takes something from his backpack and you flinch to recognize one of the whiskey bottles young O'Bannon used to drink. One last drink, Jake. And remembers the Irish madman and his perpetual whiskey drinking. You nod and toast to him. You raise your full cups to the bright sky and the afternoon sun. To Ed O'Bannon, I hope that wherever you are, there are flowing rivers of whiskey and the music of your songs. Say goodbye to Ryan one last time, then make your way towards the harbor, unable to resist taking a bite of the sweet treat your friend has made. You'll know you miss him as a cook, too.